Hello, my name is Todd Durkin, and welcome to Core Conditioning, the powerhouse of the body and the soul. The core is an often overlooked aspect of overall training in an athlete's regime. If you want to be strong and you want to be athletic, you have to have a strong core. I work with athletes of all different levels, and I often find that their core is weak. They may have real strong lower bodies, and they may have strong upper bodies, but often find an imbalance in the core of the body. When I'm talking about the core, I'm talking about that whole girdle around their entire trunk. Their stomach, their deep muscles inside the stomach like the transverse abdominis, the oblique muscles, the lower back, the hips. Basically, if you were to take an inner tube and place it around your waist, that entire girdle is the core. All of the exercises that you see in this video are going to be great core exercises. They're the same exercise that I share with my NFL and Major League Baseball athletes, as well as with the youth and Pee-wee athletes. Let's take a look at some of these great, exciting exercises to help increase your core strength. We're now going to do some exercising using the medicine ball. The medicine ball is a great implement to use for the core and condition the entire body. Let's get started with some great medicine ball exercises. First one is just called clockwork. What we're going to do is take the medicine ball with outstretched arms, and we're just going to come all the way around, rotating all the way to 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock and around. This is a great exercise to really warm up the lower back, to warm up the obliques, to warm up the stomach area. We get that a few times one way, we switch up the directions the other way. You do not need a heavy medicine ball when you're doing these medicine ball clockworks. It will work the entire core though, keeping your arms straight all the way on around and right back to the neutral position. Right into our little standing Russian twists. We're just gonna take that medicine ball, start to warm it on up, okay? Now you wanna activate that core when you're doing this. So stay nice athletic position, knees are gonna be bent, and we go right from standing Russian twist to the American twist. Arm goes out in front now. We just dynamically move it side to side. I like to do a little bit of a pause at the end so we don't use momentum. You can even stop in the middle, rotate, stop, rotate, stop, rotate, stop, rotate, stop, back and forth to really get that moving on the medicine ball American twist. The next exercise is going to be a wood chop. The wood chop exercise is now going to work the diagonal plane. In sport, we often use diagonal planes. The wood chop all the way up one side, all the way down the other side. We're going to extend and rotate back and forth. So as we do this movement, we're going upper right, lower left, upper right, lower left with that wood chop action. About 10 repetitions per side. Great to warm up the lower back, strengthen up the stomach, strengthen up the obliques, as we switch up the sides and reverse it and go the other way. That wood chop action is outstanding to really get that medicine ball working the whole stomach action. And relax. I can feel that in my stomach right now. My whole core is working. The stomach, the oblique, the lower back is warming up. Preparing for the next phase, we're now gonna do a medicine ball all the way down, all the way up. We're gonna touch the ground, right up. Okay, imagine that you're throwing the ball, we're down, we're up. So now we're in that diagonal fashion, a little more. It's supposed to be touch, stop, explode. Touch, stop, and explode all the way up, all the way down. Continue to do this when you're moving with a medicine ball. You do want to make sure you're squatting with your hips back this way, coming all the way up, versus really rounding the back. Keep your core dropped, lifting on up. Okay, keep that core dropped, stomach and glutes back, all the way, back and forth, and relax. Now, the next exercise we're gonna do is using the medicine ball, we're actually gonna throw it into the ground. Now, before you get started, listen to a couple teaching points. When you take the ball up and you're gonna now, instead of stopping it, you're gonna throw it into the ground, you wanna make sure that you throw the ball in front of your face, about 12 inches. Otherwise, the ball's gonna come up and knock you right in the chin, and that's not gonna tickle, that's gonna hurt. So you wanna come all the way down, throw the ball out in front, explode through. Explode on through all the way. So as you're throwing it out in front, you want that ball to explode and come up nice and high. You let that ball bounce as many times as you want. Explode with your trunk all the way down. Use your core to throw the ball down as hard as you possibly can. As you take a look at the athletes doing this, notice their fingers are really exploding through the ground, using your core to come up and explode down. If you want to add a little hop, you can. Very good. So medicine ball throws into the ground is great. Now in sport, we often use a twist. Same exercise, adding a twist. Medicine ball throw with a twist. Same thing, we twist, we throw. Stop, medicine ball, twist, and throw. As we do this, it's two distinct motions, throw and twist. Okay, we're gonna twist, throw, back and forth. As we progress, then we can make it one exercise, we twist and throw at the same time. We're twisting, we're throwing at the same time. This is a lot of fun. Throwing it, medicine ball as hard as we can into the ground. Athletes love it. It does improve strength of the entire body, including the arms, including the chest, as well as the core. Throw it as hard as you can into the ground. It's a lot of fun. It's great exercise for the core. Please remember, when you're doing this exercise, throw it out in front of your body, straight down. Don't try to throw it real hard at first, then advance up from there. When you're twisting, you are pivoting those feet, coming down and throwing. So as in sport, that's what you would normally be doing, twisting and throwing as hard as you can. Let's keep the action rolling now. We're gonna now go down to the ground and we're gonna do some medicine ball work onto the ground. As we take a seat on the ground, we do some medicine ball twist or sidewinders. We're gonna take the ball and we're gonna actually touch the ball side to side as we rotate the trunk. Feet are on the ground is gonna be easier. Feet up in the air is a little more challenging as we do what's called sidewinders. The straighter the arms, the harder it is. Great for the trunk. You wanna make sure you keep your lower backs involved by activating your core so your back doesn't hurt. And time, take a little rest. As you're doing that right there, as you're doing the sidewinders with that twist, once again, feet on the ground is a little easier. As you lift your feet up, definitely is gonna get more challenging. You do not want your back to hurt on this one. So make sure you really keep your chest out, keep your core nice and strong so you have no problems with that. The next one is just a very traditional boxer exercise, boxer sit-ups, holding the medicine ball here or here, taking our choice. We're just doing some sit-ups, okay? So as we sit up here on the boxer sit-up, there's a lot of variations that we can do, okay? And holding up on top, let's touch my hand. There we go. So as we're doing this here, we can really vary where he's reaching, back and forth, back and forth. He's got to touch my hand, got to find my hand. Very good for the core, the stomach, some obliques as I twist on out. 5, 4, 3, excellent, and relax, take a rest. Now all these exercises can involve a throwing action. So as he was to do a sidewinder, if they can do the sidewinders, we'll start throwing the ball. Then we're going to see a little bit more of a dynamic component. So as we start our sidewinders once again, what I can do is I can stand here and I can have the athlete throw me the ball. So throw, and as I throw it, she's got to catch it back and forth. And throw, I just give her the command, she continues throwing back and forth. Same here, if I want to make it more challenging, I'll throw it over his head. He's got to catch it. Sidewinders with a throw. Excellent, back and forth, and throw, and relax. I love to incorporate that throwing component because it makes it fun for the athlete. Same way with the boxer sit-ups you just saw. Same thing, we can do some throwing overhead. So as we start to do our sit-ups here, once again, we can have our athlete throw us the ball. Okay, back and forth. Makes it more challenging. Good. Right from over the head, throwing that ball. Have that very dynamic component. Back and forth. Great core conditioning. If I want to go to the side, he still faces the same way. I just go to the side. That's going to involve more obliques. Good. I like to do about 5 forward, 5 sideways, 5 back as I roll to the other side. Back and forth. Good. And relax. The boxer sit-up with a throw is a great exercise to develop that whole stomach and oblique area while throwing the ball, which again makes it fun, makes it exciting, gets great results. A great exercise using a light medicine ball is called a seal catch. In the seal catch, the athlete's going to have the medicine ball and they're actually going to extend up from the Superman position. The ball is in their hands. You got to throw up and I throw right back to him. Now notice I'm just a few feet away from the athlete as he catches, extends up, okay? Great for the lower back. Seal catches. You don't need a heavy ball. Okay, this is a little light gel ball. And relax. 10 to 15 of those is ample to really work the lower back in a little bit more of an explosive fashion. Great to work the hand-eye coordination as well, and just outstanding for the entire core. Continuing with our core work, a wall is a great place to do a lot of medicine ball work with. As I mentioned earlier, medicine ball work is great for developing the core. So let's take a look at some of these phenomenal exercises for the core using a medicine ball. The first one we do is just a sidewinder, nice balanced athletic position, okay, sideways to the ball, so you're perpendicular to the wall, you're sideways, and you're gonna rotate left, and you're gonna toss the ball right in front of you as it hits the wall, spring back, you'll catch, you'll rotate, and you'll be throwing back and forth. Just gonna do 10 per side. Athletic position, we rotate both ways. Keep your eye on the ball, okay, and throw from your trunk. Your arms are straight. Good, that's it, right out in front of you, bingo. And throw from that trunk. Your arms are straight, so you're really throwing from the core, not your arms. Your arms are just assisting. Back and forth. You want a lightweight at first, and then we'll switch up the sides. There you go. Okay, good. So you want to make sure that you work both ways on this. So let's switch up. We'll go the other direction as our athlete focuses here. Okay. Now when you're doing this work, this is real good for strength of the obliques, okay, and lower back as we rotate into that wall, go both ways. I often see the athlete doing too much tossing with their arms versus their trunk. Our athletes here are doing a great job keeping their arms straight as they do sidewinders, side throws into the wall. Now, a progression up from that would actually be doing the exact same exercise while lunging. Now, if you're throwing to your right, you want to lunge out with your right side. If I can just see this ball for 1 second, please. You're going to stabilize down from that lunge position. You're going to throw there. Catch, explode, explode. Now, if the ball is too heavy, the ball is going to control me. I don't want that. I want to control the ball with my core. So down, explode, back and forth. You want that speed component so your trunk is doing the work, so you can explode in that wall. Let's try this a couple times. We'll get about 5 to 10 per side as we do our lunge sidewinders into a wall, okay? So let's try that, back and forth, and let's come a little closer to that wall. Good. And we're throwing, tossing out in front. Now here you got your legs working, okay? You got a strength component of your lower body, and you got your speed component for your core working. All right, very, very challenging exercise. And relax, let's switch it on up. So you got your strength, your lower body stabilizing, your trunk and core is working. In sport, that's the way we move, that's the way we perform. Your legs are strong and your core is exploding. Okay, so now we got our left leg out in front, we're splitting. You can see Josh doing a nice job with his back knee down close to the ground, which is a very advanced position on that. And he's exploding left and right. Okay, awesome work for the core. We're strong and we're fast in that trunk. Speed, okay, name of the game, and we're developing some power in that trunk. Strength plus speed is power. Strength plus speed is power on that. So here we got a powerful movement to help develop strength and power of the core. Next one, we'll do bucket tosses, okay? So with that bucket toss, now we're gonna square up our shoulders to the wall. We're here, we're gonna, from the side, toss into the wall, catch, and then go the other side. The more we rotate, the better. We're back in, we're forth, we're catching. Okay, at a bucket toss, you want to keep that nice athletic low position, side rotation, toss in front, and then switch it on up. So you're actually back and forth, throw it right in front of you. The further you're away, the more power you need to generate to get that ball into the wall. The heavier the ball, the more challenging it is. Start light, progress up, go a little bit more difficult as we go up. Great job there. Good, so bucket tosses into the wall. Excellent, and that's okay. Relax, take a rest. I like to do all these exercises about 2 or 3 sets. We want high quality form. If you see your athlete breaking down, we want to stop. Give them a little rest so you can maintain that athletic position and really feel the fatigue in the trunk and the legs with rotation. The name of the game in sport is to be able to develop strength and power while rotating, because most sport involves rotation while moving. So those are just some examples of some great exercises that we can do using a medicine ball into a wall. Now we're going to take a look at some other exercises coming up for the core. Partner medicine ball work's a lot of fun also. As we have partners grouped together, what we're going to do is we're going to do something called the over and under. So first thing we're going to do is have them stand back to back, over and under. They're both going to reach up over top. You're going to grab medicine ball, and they're going to reach up over top, and they're going to go underneath. So they're working, once again, that same action you saw earlier, going up over top, chopping on down, okay, back and forth. Now we're going to switch up and go the exact opposite direction, so they both get to chop up and down. Ann is going to reach up top. Josh takes the ball, come underneath, back and forth. Over under is a lot of fun. We're working that chopping motion, straight up and down, the same thing that you saw. Now it's okay to notice that we have a height discrepancy here. They're still having to work. So we could pair athletes that are of different heights, that's possible. And relax, we go right from the over-unders right into the standing Russian twists. Now the standing Russian twist, I like to see some excessive rotation here. So what we're gonna do is we're both gonna rotate right. As you rotate right, take the ball and back and forth. We try to get a nice action going with rotation. The elbows are bent here. The further they are away, the straighter their arms will have to be, which would make it more challenging. So the standing Russian twist, a great exercise using the medicine ball to get great results. And relax. Now, as we continue to work with the medicine ball, Josh and I are now going to do something called a standing lunge medicine ball throw. We're actually going to separate just a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Josh take your left leg out in front. I'll take my left leg out in front. It's a standing med ball throw. Okay, back and forth. We're actually throwing, twisting. We do want to twist both ways. Turn your sternum here. Your lower body is still. Turn your sternum. Okay, it's a great exercise, and as we switch up the other way, you want to make sure the lower body is stable and the sternum turns. That's your cueing. We try to get them to twist. Use a light medicine ball at first. Too many people use a heavy medicine ball and they lose control of the actual movement. We want to make sure we keep it light enough where we can actually feel the trunk working back and forth and twisting. We want to throw it about 6 to 12 inches out in front of the athlete so they can go in, catch, stop, stabilize, stop it, stabilize, rotate, and twist. And relax, take a rest. The next medicine ball exercise is going to be partner handoffs. They're going to interlock ankles here and make sure the foot actually comes up underneath the calf. They're both going to sit back at the same time. Medicine ball goes over the head, and they're going to sit up and hand the ball to one another. They both go back and they both come up together. Back and forth. Okay, I like to do this typically between 30 to 60 seconds. Get them working. You can always go left and right. You can get a little rotation. Okay, all the way. Get that rotation on the way back if you'd like to. And of course, any of these can always be where they throw it to one another, but that's a dangerous skill here. You don't want them to throw it at each other's head. You want to make sure they would throw that at above the head, about 6 to 12 inches above the head if we're adding any kind of throwing action. But the partner handoffs, a great exercise, keeps it fun. There's a little coordination involved here. Great for the stomach, core, lower back. Excellent job, and relax, take a rest. Good. So, some partner exercises are a lot of fun that you can use to really derive great results for your core. One of the implements that we will be using in this program is called an exercise ball. An exercise ball is a wonderful piece of equipment that we will use to really increase the intensity of the core work that we're about to do. The first exercise that we're going to use with the exercise ball, called the hover plank. We're now going to use this exercise ball hover plank. We'll come down to the knees and we'll rotate a little bit here, and we're just going to come all the way out, hover plank position, where we're nice straight line. Okay, from our heels to our neck, we're in a nice straight line. Once again, we want to make sure that the athlete's not dipping down the trunk or sticking their tail up in the air. In the beginning here, we're just trying a nice and easy static movement, or static hold. Now what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna rock the exercise ball back and forth. And this is gonna really kick in your whole stomach and lower back region. At any time if your lower back starts to get involved, stop and go down to the knees. You wanna always make sure you maintain perfect quality and down to the knee to maintain perfect quality in that. All we're doing there is a hover plank with a rocking back and forth from 12 to 6 o'clock. Now, we're to continue that hover plank action, we're gonna actually do circles with the exercise ball. This is great to do about 5 to 10 circles one way and 5 to 10 circles the other way. Now, this may look easy, but this is extremely challenging on the whole core. Stomach, lower back, obliques are all working with that rotation. Working on the circles, excellent job. The unstable surface of the exercise ball is really providing a great resistance for us for the core. Excellent job with that clockwork on there. Now we're gonna do the same exact thing from the standing plank position, fingertips out. We're just gonna hold. Okay, we're gonna hold in that standing plank once again, back and forth, and we're just gonna lift one leg, hold, stabilize, bring it back on down, and lift the other leg. And back and forth, making sure we can extend opposite leg, back and forth, just lifting one leg, make sure it's straight, and then relax down to those knees, rolling out over the ball, 4-point position, hands are on the ground, feet are on the ground, raising opposite arm and leg into an alternate Superman. Now, this is great for the lower back. This is really gonna have the nice surface under your belly, under your waist, under your hips here, so that you have some stability, but it is unstable, so you have to really activate. Back and forth. Okay, I like to do about 10 of those. Okay, alternate Supermans. Back and forth on that. Hold for a split second. Make sure they can stabilize static. One more time other way, static hold. And nice and easy, we're gonna roll right on out into a knee tuck position. This is a great stretch on the lower back. It feels wonderful to go in a child's pose from that exercise ball. We're gonna roll it back on out and in. Now, if you would like it more challenging, then walk the ball back so that is more at the shin level versus the knee level, where you can walk it in and out. And if you want it more challenging, you can further, once again, walk that ball back where you're not losing your integrity of your core. You're keeping it up nice and high, knees tuck in, knee tucks. If you'd like to, we can add a push up, down and up, knee tuck in and out, back and forth. Add that combination movement. This is definitely core work, definitely balancing back and forth. Good, one more time. Good, and then we'll walk it all the way back from a walkout position. Excellent job on the core right there to really activate stomach and lower back region. Now we want to continue flowing because the exercise ball allows us to really get some good warmth going in all those deep muscles. So next one is called a reverse hyperextension. Now we come over the ball. It's important that we don't go too far over the ball. We go down, our head's gonna go down to the ground and our legs are gonna go straight up toward the sky. We come back down slowly, feet placed down to the ground, and we lift back on up. Back and forth as we do that reverse hyperextension. If you do have back pain with this, don't do it, okay? This is a little more advanced on this. As you lift your legs and extend from your hips and glutes, you wanna make sure that you can really strengthen the glutes and lower back without any pain. If there's pain, listen to your body, know your body. Great job. You can see some great flexibility with our athletes here on the reverse hyperextensions. What we're gonna do now with a regular hyperextension, instead of going all the way over the ball, this time we're gonna take our hips, we're gonna place it on the hip level, and I'm gonna hold and secure one of the athlete's legs down. As the athlete has his hands extended up over top, he's then going to lift his upper body all the way up. Now the positioning on this is very important. I often see that the position is not right on this. You do want to get a nice stretch over the ball. Let's see how Josh does here. I hold the feet down and I just lift all the way on up. I get a nice stretch all the way down. I come right back on up. All the way down and all the way up. We'll add some twist to this to get some rotation. Now it's adding some rotary torso and lower back. Remember, we want to extend and rotate. We're used to, as human beings and as athletes, flexing and rotating. Let's work a lot of extension with rotation as well. Last one, and relax, take a rest. Now I'm holding the athlete's feet down. You can simply do this going into a wall as well. And when you do this into a wall, you do want to make sure you adjust the ball so it is under your hips. I often see that you start here and you put your chest against the ball, and you really don't get a great hyperextension from that. Let the pivot point be from your hips, okay, back here, so you can get over the ball nicely. If you secure your feet against the wall, if you're by yourself, that actually acts as a nice anchor so you can get a nice full range of motion on that movement. So that's a great exercise that you can do for your lower back. The next one we're going to progress to is a jackknife. Now a jackknife is a great exercise for your lower rectus abdominis, your lower abs. And a lot of you out there have weak lower abs. What we're going to do with a jackknife now is we're going to walk on out and we're going to jackknife on up. So where you walk on out, and this time you're going to walk out further, it's a little more challenging, and you're going to lift, okay? You're going to lift that tail up in the air, nice and high, and then slowly coming on back down. We're going to continue that a few times where we raise up, high as you can, and then all the way back down. Continue that motion 1 or 2 more times. Take a look at that, lifting with your lower abs. Great job on that. And relax it on back. Great. That is an extremely challenging exercise. The jackknife, where we actually pike up into a pike position there, is extremely challenging on our whole core. Stomach and lower back is definitely working on that exercise. We're really going to go into the hips now. And the hips play a pivotal role in sport. The hips are part of the core. On this exercise ball, what we're going to do is we're going to come on out. This time we'll just take a quick peek. And what we'll do is with the hips on the ball, the waist on the ball, if you go too far over, you're not going to get this. We're going to go what's called hip circles. Now with your feet, you want a nice big circular movement with your feet. Okay, we're going to go one direction circles, and then we'll actually switch up the other way as you circle. So let's start to circle one way, okay, with those feet. We're coming on around, and you really, from your hip abductors, the outside of those hips, your glutes, you're just circling one direction. Let's switch up the movement now and go the other way. Circle the other way. You'll still work your hip abductors, but you'll also work your hip adductors, your groin as you pull in, back and forth. That's the beauty of the exercise ball. It allows you to work a lot of different movements at once and relax straight up and down now into scissor kicks. Straight legs, we're just gonna kick up, back and forth as we're swimming. Imagine you're Aquaman under the water and you're back and forth. It's a good idea to keep your toes dorsiflexed as you do this to promote good mechanics and strengthen up the tibialis anterior, and you're just scissor kicking back and forth. You should feel this in your glutes and your lower back region. Back and forth, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax, pulling on back and relaxing. At any time, if you need a stretch, this exercise ball allows a wonderful stretch over the ball. Just come on over, stretch over the ball. It's a great way to release the back and to get a nice little traction on the lower back, providing a great lower back stretch. I often find the lower back is neglected when it comes to strengthening. All those exercises right there are really going into the lower back, which is a great area for us to work. We're now going to go supine on the ball and do some supine exercises on the exercise ball. As we come up onto the exercise ball, do realize that there is some instability while seated on the ball. I often advocate actually using these exercise balls while seated at your desk. If you're a desk jockey and you're spending a lot of hours, use these balls because it will promote good posture. Sitting nice and tall, okay, activating your core and your hips. What we're going to do here are some basic general crunches on the exercise ball. Now the key here, remember, is this is not a neck crunch. It's an abdominal crunch. Now when you're seated on this exercise ball, there is some instability that's going to occur, so you want to make sure you're nice and secure on this. As you roll out, you want to make sure your lower back is positioned in the ball properly. When you're doing a crunch on the exercise ball, too many times you'll actually drop off the ball here, or you'll be positioned too far back over the ball where you actually lose your balance and fall off the ball. You want to make sure you stabilize your lower back in the ball. Just have a small posterior tilt where you turn your pelvis up toward the sky and you depress your lower back into the exercise ball. So make sure when you're in that position, you're pressing your back into the ball. Hands go behind the head, elbows back, chest up, tongue on the roof of your mouth, and we're going to start some nice basic general crunches. So athletes, if you can just demonstrate this movement here, you want to avoid the neck crunch. And you want to really focus on getting a nice stretch and a lift. Imagine that your tongue is on the roof of the mouth, your chest is up, and you're extending with those hips. Now, the further you're over the ball, the more difficult and more challenging the exercise will be. So you can always adjust accordingly where this is. The nice thing about the exercise ball, you can use this anywhere, inside, outside, on a field. wherever you like to, you can use these exercise balls. To add some variation now, we'll just take the hands straight on up toward the sky, and we're just gonna lift straight up and down. The key here is to stretch over the ball and then lift straight on up. So this is still basically an abdominal crunch. The arms are going straight up, and imagine if you had an extra ball in your hands, or you had some weighted resistance in your hands. This is going to really increase the challenge of the exercise. And then if we start the hula now, we can continue to really reach side to side. Okay, so we're really reaching now using body weight on the exercise ball back and forth. So we're rotating back and forth, we're lifting. If your neck gets tired anytime, you can continue to hula and just do a side crunch. Okay, you're just doing a crunch with a rotation as we do that. If you'd like to make it a little more challenging, even more so, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna offset on the ball right about a ½ an inch, not too far. That's gonna really fire up the whole core even more so. And we're gonna come straight on up now. So you just offset a little bit, you still wanna stretch, and you wanna come on up. So offset crunches are even more challenging. If you wanna add a rotation, your right elbow will go towards your left knee. And now your core is really gonna be screaming. Okay, back and forth. I'd like to get about 25 total of those crunches. We switch up the other way. Plus it keeps it fun and exciting to really mix up and diversify your exercises. Offset, back and forth, and we're just squeezing all the way, back and forth, squeezing. That's it. And relax. We relax by stretching over the ball and opening up that entire chest and abdominal region. The exercise ball is a wonderful tool to really focus on strengthening up those abdominal regions. Anytime that we want to, I often like to superset into the hip extension, which is just the opposite. When we work the glutes and the lower back extensions, specifically the quadratus lumborum, we can come on out here, lift up nice and high, back and forth as we lift up. So if we really want to keep balance between that, we work the lower back. We could also use this exercise ball hip extension exercise to really promote strength in the core of the lower back. So let's try that. Okay, exercise ball hip extensions. All the way down, all the way up. It feels good after your stomach is all tired from all those other exercises. That's awesome. Nice. Excellent. Now we're gonna stay up. Keep your hips up. We're gonna add the Russian twist. They're in the position already, which is great. We take those hands straight on up. Keeping your hips square, we wanna disassociate now your hips and your shoulders. Hands are up, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate over as far as you can right, and then as far as you can left. And the ball will roll the opposite way that you're moving. So as you see them, the ball will roll back and forth. Once again, if you like to, you can add a resistance in your hands, which will make it more challenging and more difficult. So the exercise ball, Russian twist, great exercise for core development, specifically in those rotation movements. Excellent job with the Russian twist, and relax, take a rest. Good job on those, good. Now, very specifically, we're gonna really go into the obliques now, the sides. All we do, gently, we're gonna lift, turn the side, top leg is gonna go back on this, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go sideways, and we're gonna just do a nice little side crunch. This is an excellent exercise for the obliques. Now, I like to use my hand here where I'm stretching across my chest, and we come on up. You can also anchor your feet into the wall again to really get a nice anchor to allow me to get a great stretch over the ball. If I take a look this time at our athlete as we come up, I can also hold the feet if we need to, okay? And same thing here, we're gonna come all the way up over top, okay? And we can switch up arms, Josh. So you can see the athlete here getting that side. If he wants to roll onto the side even more, that gets into the obliques. Here we got the rectus and obliques working. I like this top leg back because it works into those hips as well as obliques. You can do the top leg forward as well. I like to do it both ways so you can really activate the entire rectus abdominis as well as your obliques, which attach down to your lower back. And relax, take a rest. The side-lying oblique position is great to really do a lot of work on the oblique and lower back action. All those exercises that you see in there are phenomenal for core development. The next exercise we're going to do is called a handoff. We're going to use the exercise ball as the implement that will be weighted, which will create a definite challenge for our athlete. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the exercise ball between the feet. Just by doing that and the athlete squeezing their feet into the exercise ball will absolutely ignite all the adductor muscles in the legs. They're going to do that. They're going to bring the ball up, take with their hands, come back into a crunch. Everything goes down, and they're going to bring the ball into a crunch, place it between their feet, squeeze, come all the way down. Everything comes up as one, everything goes down as one. A wonderful exercise for the stomach, for the core, using the exercise ball as a resistance. And this is fun also because there's a little coordination that's involved. You're going to find the athlete, even the young athlete or the elite athlete, may struggle in the beginning with this ball because there's a coordination factor that comes into play. And last one, we come all the way back and relax, take a rest. It's a great exercise for the core, specifically the stomach. Now, one of the ones I really like, and it's kind of fun, we're going to place the exercise ball between the feet. And I like to do this where we actually are going to do it where we throw the ball up and you got to catch it with your feet. So your legs are straight. What I often see is you want to bend your knees. You want to keep your legs straight. And you're just going to gently toss the ball up in the air and catch it. So kind of let go and catch. Now this is challenging, and when you lose it, you can certainly just replace it with your hands. But just by letting it go and squeezing is a great coordination and balancing act that's very, very challenging. Excellent job. And relax. Good. Good, tough exercise. So when you see that exercise there and you do that, you want to make sure that you have slight knee bend to protect your back, and you do want to make sure the shoulders do come off the ground. So you don't want to be down. You want to be up, and you're going to lift and catch. Okay? Throw it and catch. Throw it and catch. Versus kind of throwing it at you, you want to now throw it there. Okay? Catch. 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 Now as I'm just up and I'm squeezed, I'm isometrically contracted in that core, I'm really, really challenged just to catch back and forth. Once again, you can do here and catch. That's pretty challenging there, and really try to catch back and forth. Nothing wrong with that as well. Definitely a more advanced exercise to really catch and coordinate that action back and forth. Okay, some nice fun exercise that you can do with the exercise ball and squeezing back and forth. Next, we're going to use the exercise ball lateral roll. The lateral roll is a great movement, a great exercise for the obliques and the sides as well as the lower back. The athlete's going to roll all the way out so the head is relaxed on the ball. Now, it's important that you keep the hips and the shoulders on one plane. What the athlete's going to do here is they're going to walk as far out to the right as they can and then as far out to the left as they can. I like to have them move their feet. I want to see how far they can get off the ball, really challenging both ways. Back and forth. This is an extremely challenging movement. I like to do this about 10 times, about 5 each way, and the athlete's going to fatigue out. You want to make sure that the hips don't drop down. Keep the hips extended out, keep the hips and shoulders on one plane, and back and forth. Last one going this way. He's doing a great job keeping the hips up. Lateral roll. A lateral roll is a great exercise right there. And relaxed. Now I'm going to show you some advanced exercises using the exercise ball. I typically like to do it with a bench or a box that you have because this is going to be some pretty challenging exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to take the exercise ball. You want to come onto the bench and you want to make sure that your hands are on the front of the bench. This is actually going to help reduce any soreness that you feel from excessive hyperextension of your wrists. So I like to come at so that the force is distributed evenly throughout the arms. You're going to place your leg, your foot up on top of the ball, and you're going to hold right here. Okay, and as I do that, my shoelace is down, I'm just going to hold. And I call this running man's. I'm in a nice plank position here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my feet nice and quick. I'm going to drive, 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 drive. And I can go fast, but as soon as I see that sinking, I know I have to stop or have my athlete stop. The running man action is going to be nice and explosive. If I'm on my toes here, dorsiflex, I'm going to switch, 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 back and forth. Okay, so the running man is a great advanced exercise that you can do to really promote running mechanics, speed, as well as core. Now, if I add a twist to that, what I like to do is I like to come into that running man position and go running man with rotation. So I bring my rotation up here, it's in that position, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna drop it underneath and come back. It is okay for that back foot to rotate. Okay, the ball will move and I come on back explosively. Underneath, I come back explosively. Back and forth, about 10 per side, running man with rotations. Excellent for the rotation of your hips, as your hips are nice and stable on that. We want to go both ways on that running man with rotations. Now let's take a look and see how our athlete does. We first want to make sure our hands are over top so the force is distributed throughout that bench. Okay, I'm going to stabilize the exercise ball here. He's going to bring it to hip flexion, and he's just going to start sprinting back and forth. Hold and pause. Good. I like to do about 10 to 20 of these running man positions, and then relax, take a rest. He's doing a nice job through his core, maintaining that strength as he drives up those hip flexors. Now we'll add the running man with rotation. Back and forth, okay, and we're just gonna drop underneath. It is okay if I was to let this ball go, the ball will move. You see the athlete has to correct that very minutely, that awareness between that ball rotating. Excellent job. Very dynamic, very advanced exercise here that you can progress up to with some hard work as your core gets nice and strong. Great job, and relax. Good. Now, as we progress up and we continue to add all those advanced type exercises on the exercise ball, let's take a look at the jackknife with a push-up on here. So I'm on my toes, I walk it on back, I'm in that jackknife position, I come up, all the way up, all the way down. Okay, dorsiflex, plantar flex, back and forth. A great exercise for shoulder integrity, core strength, and flexibility. As we take a look at our athlete do this jackknife with a push-up on the exercise ball, tremendous, tremendous strength is needed to lift into the pike position and back down. Great. There we go. His core is nice and straight, nice and flat. And relax, take a rest. Now the next exercise that we're going to do is going to be advanced as well. We're going to use 2 exercise balls and we're going to do a chest fly. Take a look at this exercise. The athlete's going to start them in nice and narrow, nice and tight. Elbows are going to be narrow, and we're going to open up the elbows, drop down, sink, bring it right back on in. Drop it down, pull it right back in. Tremendous core strength is needed, okay? Upper body strength as well as they go down and pull it back in. You got chest and core is all active right here. One more time. Bam, coming right back up. Great job. Now, the chest fly using 2 exercise balls is a great fun exercise that you can do, help promote that core strength. Now we're gonna go right into what's called creepy crawlers. A fun exercise that you can do using 2 exercise balls. Creepy crawlers now, same exact starting position. Core is nice and strong, all of this is core. And we're just gonna roll one up and one back. And the further you go, the harder it is. A great core exercise here. Fun to coordinate those 2 different exercise balls back and forth. Excellent job. And relax. The creepy crawler is a fun movement that you can do using 2 exercise balls to really promote advanced core work, to really get in there nice and deep and to see not only improved performance, but maybe a 6-pack also. Now we're going to progress into some kneeling exercises while on the exercise ball. Very challenging. You want to make sure that you can kneel on the ball here by gently taking your hands, resting your knees on the ball while your feet are still on the ground. So this is your position. And then once you gently roll onto the exercise ball, you want to make sure that you can actually kneel on it and get some balance first. Once you're on it, please do not pick up your knees and try to move. If you have to, just reset and move your knees versus trying to literally pick up your knees back and forth. Now there's a lot of different movements that we can do while kneeling on the exercise ball. One of the things that we can do here, okay, is a nice easy, as I come back, I can do certainly an extension with my leg, okay? I'm balancing and I'm extending back and forth. Once again, when I'm done, I come back, I reset my knee, I shift the weight over a little bit, and I can come over into an exercise ball, one-legged extension, okay? Very challenging, great for the lower back and the hips. I come back, reset, and I'm ready for my next exercise. The next exercise, when you're doing that, you're kneeling, you're actually going to come on up, hook your shoelaces on the exercise ball, and you're gonna try here, once you get that flow of it, to come on up and balance. You can use your shoelaces as a means to balance. If you can see my feet hooked around the exercise ball, if that's harder, that's a little bit easier because now I have stability, okay, against the exercise ball. Let's give that a shot with our athlete and then we'll progress from there. I'm gonna roll the ball to Josh. He's gonna get stability, knees are on. He's gonna gently roll forward. Okay, and if I wanna spot him, okay, he has to find that balance point, keeping his core over the ball. And when he's ready, he's gonna just gently come on up. I wanna make sure he's here, and do you feel stable? Yeah. If he feels stable on that, okay, we're next gonna toss him some very light objects to see if he can coordinate that movement. Balance and core strength go hand in hand. I'm gonna gently just toss him some balls. It doesn't matter, you can use tennis balls, juggling balls, reaction balls, footballs, basketballs. And as you toss these different balls, you can do one at a time. Again, if it's a juggling ball, tennis ball, football, basketball, or you can go with 2 balls at the same time. Now that's gonna be extremely challenging because now he has to coordinate catching with 2 different objects while balancing back and forth. That is not gonna be easy while balancing and kneeling on an exercise ball. So we're going with 2 hands at the same time. He's really got to coordinate that, or 2 different size objects. That's even more challenging. Now here we have a reaction ball and a juggling ball. And if I really want to make it more challenging, I'm going to do it different times. I'll go 1, 2, okay? The closer the time I get together, the harder it is. Okay, one goes out in front. He has got to really watch it on in. One's forward and one's back. Different levels, different objects, okay? That's very, very challenging to do that with different type balls. Try that. Kneeling on an exercise ball is fun. It takes hand-eye coordination. You have balance, and whenever there's balance, your core has to stay activated. And when you're kneeling, you're gonna squeeze in on your adductors, your groin, and that's really gonna kick in your stomach and your whole core. One of the best devices you can use to get great results for your core is something called the power wheel. The power wheel will give you unbelievable results for your entire trunk. Let's get started with some great exercises. What we're going to do when we strap this on here, we want the Velcro to come all the way through. We have the athlete place their foot in the power wheel, in the strap. We take this resistance tube, place it around the heel of the body. Take the other foot so they're completely strapped into the power wheel. The power wheel, as I said, will give you great results for your entire trunk, stomach, lower back, and obliques. This is an advanced implement to use for developing core strength. What we're going to have our athlete do here is we're going to have them flip over onto their stomach, and we're going to push up into the push-up position. Now this right here, step number 1, is just making sure that they can use the power wheel. The way you assess that is making sure they do not dip down. If you see this, they are not ready for the power wheel, or you must teach that action right there where their stomach and back are in line. From their heel to the neck, you see a straight line. And back down to your knees, take a rest. If they can hold this for about 15 to 20 seconds, then they can start doing some nice, easy exercises using the power wheel. Now, there are no real easy exercises in the power wheel, but we're gonna start with some basic exercises and advance from there. The first one I like to do is just something called wheel walks. So we're gonna walk using a nice straight line all the way on up. Athlete goes forward, and then he's gonna come straight on back. This develops strength not only in the core, but also in the shoulders. The wheel is rolling nice and freely. At any time, if you have to adjust, just stop and readjust the wheel. Now what we're gonna do is something called shoulder pops. With his arms straight, he's gonna try to propel himself forward with arms straight, actively coming all the way through, and then going backwards as well. Typically about 5 yards is a great distance that you can use with your athlete on the shoulder pops. Now if we want to take it a step further, we can then go into what's called push-up pops. Push-up pops now are when the athlete is going to actually bend his elbows at 90 degrees, explode up off the ground using upper body strength and core strength. A definite advanced type exercise. Let's take a look at some push-up pops with the athlete propelling himself forward and backward. Comes down, explodes up. Comes down, explodes up. A nice plyometric push up here with the power wheel, and then we get about 5, and then we come backwards. Okay? The further he goes forward and backward, obviously, the more challenging and more difficult it will be for the athlete. Excellent job on that, Josh. And relax. The fact that your feet are strapped into a wheel and the wheel is rolling makes your entire body work. It definitely is going to activate, especially the transverse abdominis, the lower abs, as well as the upper abs, the obliques, and the lower back. All the paraspinal muscles must stay contracted and tight. So the power wheel definitely gives you some great core work. Let's take a look at now some other exercises you can use using the power wheel. We're now going to do an exercise called the knee tuck. The athlete's going to come out into the push-up position, holding a nice standing plank, and we're just going to have the athlete roll his knees in toward his chest and back on out. That's all we're doing, in and out, in and out, back and forth. Lower abs are working, the wheel's in a nice straight line, and relax. About 10 repetitions is going to be sufficient for the knee tucks. To take it a step further, we'll now add a twist. Now the knee tuck with a twist is going to be a 4-part movement as we do that. With the knee tuck with a twist, what we want to do is we want to come up with the wheel, 1, over 2, back 3, all the way back 4. So as you roll the wheel in, there's 1, you must come all the way up, then over, then back, and then back. A lot of athletes just try to twist all in once, and it gets the wheel all kind of messed up. So we want to have a 4-part movement. Let's take a look at the knee tuck with a twist. Plank position, we come all the way up as 1, over 2, 3, 4. We go the other way this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. Good. The knee tuck with a twist now is involving the entire trunk and a lot of oblique work because we do have a twisting. Once again, the athlete's shoulders are stabilized and working, and now the lower body is what has to do the work. The lower oblique is great as we twist that lower body. Excellent job on that. And relax, take a rest. The knee tuck with a twist. Anytime we can work the lower portion of those obliques, the transverse abdominis, is going to be a good thing. The power wheel is going to give us a real difficult challenge when it comes to resistance because we have to coordinate that movement of the wheel rolling while doing that exercise. The next exercise we're going to do is called the power wheel jackknife. The jackknife now is going to be very similar to the jackknife that you saw on the exercise ball or the Swiss ball. We're going to take our tail up as high as we can, okay, from the push-up position. We're going to activate lower abs. We're going to lift the tail up toward the sky and come right back on down. We're going to lift with the lower stomach and up. The rectus abdominis definitely is working here. Remember, the rectus abdominis does attach down there to pubic symphysis, so we're really working the lower portion of that there. At any time, we can always add a push-up into this, which makes it even more challenging. Okay, so we have a jackknife, prone, all the way up into that push-up, back and forth, and relax. Now, with the power wheel, anytime if you want to make it more challenging, what you can always do is have a little bit of a plyometric component. Using that same exercise that you just saw there, the jackknife, we can now add a little bit of plyometric component. As I gently press him away, he must resist that motion. As the athlete comes back into the jackknife position, I'll stand here, I'll just gently press him back and he resists. So this is adding even a further dynamic component, getting that resistance, and our athletes really love this because they have the power wheel on them and they have that resistance where you push them and then hold the standing plank position, hold, hold, hold. He really squeezes everything out that he has and then relax all the way down. Great job. One of our favorite exercises using the power wheel is clockwork while on the power wheel. What's great about doing clockwork is the athlete now is really going to be doing a lot of hand coordination and oblique work. As the athlete comes into the plank position, he's actually going to start to walk his hands all the way around into a big circle or a clock. Imagine 12, 3, 6 o'clock. The wheel is just pivoting. It comes all the way around and back. The clockwork is tremendously challenging. He can walk all the way from a 180 or 360. If he wants to keep coming at me, Josh, you can keep coming all the way on around. Keep that going. Good. The clockwork's tremendous here for the obliques. All the way around. I'd like to see a 180 or 360. And excellent job, relax. Clockwork's a lot of fun. This power wheel here can derive great results. If you use the power wheel, know that you start basic with just holding some standing planks, start to move with some walkouts, add in some push-ups, some knee tucks with a twist, jackknives, clockwork, Be creative. There's a lot of different exercises that you can use with this power wheel. You can see here our athlete was tremendously challenged with the power wheel. It's a great exercise. It's a great device that you can use to get great results. One of the things I like to do in my workouts is have some fun. And the BOSU is one of the best exercises and one of the best pieces of equipment that you can get to have some fun in your work. Now when you're working out and you're working your core, the BOSU will definitely get you great results. BOSU stands for both sides up or both sides utilized. Both sides up meaning you can have it where it's dome up or you can have it where it's dome down. We'll actually use the BOSU for a lot of our speed, agility, and quickness work that you'll see later on in our other video. But the BOSU is a great piece of equipment for core conditioning. So for the core, we're going to gently start off with the dome up first. We'll teach proper positioning. As our athletes come onto the ball and perform a simple crunch, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your lower back is supported on the BOSU. With our hands behind our head, you do want to make sure that you slightly tilt your pelvis toward the sky, depress your back into the ball, and just start with a gentle crunch. If you find that your lower back is hurting, you'd scoot up on the ball. If you want a greater challenge, then scoot back on the ball just a tad. But it is very important that as you do that you are feeling support in your lower back. Because of the unstable surface, yet it's very safe because you're not going to fall off, it's going to get great results for your stomach. After the crunches, I like to do a crunch with a one-legged kick. So we now are going to crunch in. One knee only is going to come in, kick straight on out, continue with the same leg. Do not switch on this one. I like to get about 10 crunching kicks. Crunch in, kick out. A great stomach exercise, great for the lower back because there's balance there. And then we'll switch up the sides. BOSU, crunching kick. Now we can do this with a bent knee, or if we want to, we can always go straight leg. Try it with a straight leg. Same movement, little more challenging. Okay, the straight-legged movement. Okay, the more you're over the ball, the more challenging it is. And relax. To add a little rotational component into the same movement, now what we're going to do is we're going to come back into the same exact position, the crunch position. Our one hand's going to release out to the side, and we're now going to take this elbow toward the opposite knee. So as you crunch in, you kick out, and we're getting a rotational component now. So with that component, we're going to get a great oblique action on the BOSU, and the BOSU is phenomenal once again to get great core results. Excellent job as we do that. We always want to do both sides, about 10 to 15 per side on that BOSU oblique crunch. Okay, we're actually adding that twist, which gets a great exercise there for that oblique. Excellent job on that with our athletes. And relax. We're now going to take the athlete and we're going to have them actually turn onto their side. And on their side, their top leg is going to go back. Get a nice split. Top arm is going to be up over the head. Bottom arm right underneath the chest. Get a really good stretch on the side. So in this position that you see right here, this actually feels good on the entire lower back and hip area. It's actually lengthening the fascia in that area. This feels good. So we're actually going to start a little side sit up here. And as our athlete sits up, we just lengthen on up. If you want to add a twist, you can slightly add a twist as well. But this is a great exercise for the entire oblique area. Feels wonderful, and it's a hard area to get. If you're looking to really focus on some love handle action, this is one of the best exercises for it. The BOSU oblique sit-up. On your side, okay, we got your side oblique sit-up just coming all the way up. And relax. Great job on that. BOSU oblique side sit-up. The next exercise we're going to show you here is lying on your back, a bicycle and rotate. Very challenging advanced exercise on the BOSU. The first thing you must do is get balance. So balance on the BOSU with your feet actually off the ground. Hands will be behind the head. In a short action, you're going to actually work your opposite elbow to opposite knee as we twist and rotate and bicycle on that ball. As you can see here, our athlete really get a nice job with that rotation of her legs. Very, very challenging because there's a balance component. So we have that opposite arm and leg. You can lean back a little bit if you're larger of stature. And relax, take a rest. Great job. We're now gonna have our athlete flip over onto the BOSU on their knees. So they're gonna be kneeling on the BOSU, hands are on the BOSU, and we're gonna work the exact opposite motion. The exercise that you just saw, the bicycle and rotate, is extremely challenging for the entire core area. EMG studies show that the bicycle and rotator is one of the best exercises for abdominal activity. So use that coupled on the BOSU. Now, if we work the front side, we should work the back side. So a great exercise you can use on the BOSU is simply just extending opposite arm and leg while balancing on the BOSU. It's kind of a modified Superman exercise. Balance, hold, just for a split second, and continue on the opposite arm and leg. Because once you position your knee on that ball, you don't want to move it. And they're doing a great job. You notice their feet are actually off the ground. If you want to make it a little easier, then just have the athlete stabilize their foot on the ground, which will give them an additional base of stability, which will actually make the exercise a little bit easier. If not, then you can go on up, and we'll switch up the sides. If you want to make it more challenging, then you can actually have them have their foot off the ground and stabilize. The longer they hold at the top, the more challenging it is. And just hold, hold, hold. Nice and square hips. And relax. The BOSU is a wonderful piece of equipment that you can use to derive great results for your core. If you're looking to get great core fitness, remember the core is absolutely essential and critical if you want to take all of the strength of your lower body and transfer it all the way through your fingertips. You must have great core strength. The core, again, is your stomach, your hips, your lower back, all the region if you were to put that inner tube around your whole body, and it's going to stay right there. You must have a strong trunk if you want to be great in sport. The exercise that we showed you using medicine balls, using the exercise balls, using the Swiss balls, BOSUs, power wheels, all allow you to have a lot of fun and get great results. But the bottom line is you have to do it. Spend about 10 to 15 minutes a day, 3 to 4 times a week, focusing on your core. Most athletes, including the elite athletes, don't spend enough time on the core. If you want to be great in sport, spend time on your core. Have some fun. God bless.
TD Performance presents an extraordinary new series of DVD programming guaranteed to improve your athletic abilities and overall fitness. 7 different DVDs in all, featuring Todd Durkin, Fitness Trainer of the Year and Personal Trainer of Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson. The dynamic warm-up features over 25 of the most up-to-date warm-up techniques that are designed to improve flexibility, prevent injury, reinforce proper speed mechanics, activate your nervous system, and prepare your body for superior athletic performance. Joint Integrity shows you the most up-to-date exercises to strengthen and stabilize the tendons and muscles that support your joints. By applying these techniques, you will improve muscle symmetry and develop dynamic balance, which will help you in all sports. Core Conditioning features over 30 different techniques to strengthen and improve your core muscles. These exercises are designed to improve athletic performance and help prevent injuries for all athletes. In Sports Strength, you'll learn over 40 different techniques to improve your overall body strength, enhance your speed and athleticism, condition your entire body, and get bigger, faster, and stronger. In Explosive Power, You'll learn over 25 of the latest drills and exercises to improve your athletic power. These exercises are designed to improve speed and power through plyometrics, maximize fast twitch muscle fiber, increase vertical jumping abilities, and increase overall strength for all sports. Speed, agility, and quickness features the latest techniques and over 50 different drills and exercises to improve your athletic speed, agility, and quickness. Flexibility for Performance demonstrates the latest stretching and corrective movement techniques that are designed to help align and elongate your muscles and tendons. You'll learn how lengthening the connective tissue can improve an athlete's range of motion, accelerate recovery time, and relieve pain and stress through a series of yoga-influenced positions.